friends, welcome back to Player Display. I ordered something really interesting in the mail, and as you could probably guess, since I've been doing so many Planet of the Apes stuff lately across my channels, I'm a very big OG Planet of the Apes fan. And at the same time, it's a really awkward situation because while it is basically the franchise that pioneered the sci-fi franchise genre, there's not a whole lot of merch to be found. Like, when you take franchises like Star Wars, Star Trek, and some other ones, you can, like, walk into any store and find a lightsaber or something like that. It's pretty easy to find the merch that you want. But for Planet of the Apes, it's a little tricky. Like, as we discussed on this channel before, NECA does a line of figures which are amazing, and I'm going to bring one out here in a moment relating to this review that we're about to do. But even those figures are very hard to find. And what is also hard to find is replica props from the film. So I wanted to go online and just see what I could actually find around, and there were two things that caught my eye that I did pick up. And one of them arrived today, the other one's not here yet, so when it does arrive, I will review that as well. I'll string the both together in a singular video. But for now, here is one I've been very much awaiting this. This is a non-branded third-party replica of Ursus's pistol from beneath the Planet of the Apes. As you know, probably judging by the big old fat Ursus edit that I released just yesterday, not even 24 hours ago.
Our great lawgiver tells us that never will the human have the ape's divine faculty for being able to distinguish between evil and good. The only good human is a dead human!
I love General Ursus, and as I was going through all the footage of him in the movie, he's a lot more interesting than I thought, just his rapport with Dr. Zaius and everything. Ursus is such an interesting character. One of my favorites, top 5 in the Apes franchise easily. I mean, not quite Caesar, but I love him a lot too. So one of his trademark things is, firstly, of course, you have his big old giant hat, which, I mean, I don't think you can easily stumble upon a replica of that, and I don't know where I'd put it. But the next best thing is his trademark weapon being his little pistol. I think he's the only ape in the entire franchise that wields this. And not only that, but I don't even think he uses it in Beneath. He kind of brandishes it around when he and Zaius come across those chimp protesters before they go on their voyage into the Forbidden Zone. But I don't think he ever actually shoots around from it. He kind of just waves it around to frighten people a little bit. But that being said, it carries on the same aesthetics as the rifles that we see in the films. Again, very minimalistic, not as techy looking. Just a piece of wood, effectively. So, what do I know about this kit that I have over here? Hey there, gang. So here I am again, from the past, rather. I got it off eBay, and that was the only one that I saw in stock. I couldn't find it anywhere else, except on this one more site, but it looks a little fishy. I wanted to show you why I wouldn't trust this site. I'm in Brave browser because I don't like ads, not sponsored. And I just punched in Ursus pistol model kit, and I don't know why this ain't Ursus's gun, but this one is. This is the only other listing I see for this model kit. In fact, it's the exact same stock images I saw on the eBay listing. But anyways, here's where the weirdness begins. So this website is called xlgroup.com. Don't know what that is. And then I'm like, alright, sure, we'll click on the link and see what's going on. And the link in the search bar says morediscounts.ru. What kind of domain is that? And the website is actually called Christmas Discount Shop. There's 3 freaking names for it. And the whole site just, I don't know, I'm gonna trust my gut on this one. It just doesn't seem right. If you want to get it, wait for another source. They're around, you just gotta wait for them a little bit. I don't know, maybe if you got a 3D printer you could get it like that, but for me, I don't got one. I don't like this printing scan lines on something like this, so I'm glad it's gonna be a resin kit, so I'm really looking forward to build it. But anyways, back to the video. We'll put a link to this particular eBay seller in the description below if they come up with any new ones in the future. But it looks really awesome from the shots that I saw, so that being said, here's a presentation. It didn't come shipped in this box, it was a box inside another box with shipping information, but once you pull this one out, this is how it looks, and it's a nicer presentation than it has any right to be. You actually have a picture of the pistol itself, you have Ursus pistol prop model kit, and from what I could tell, it's literally just 3 parts. It's the, maybe 4, no, I think it's 3. From what I could tell, it's the main gun body, then the trigger and the hammer, but I think the barrel is built in, but that's what we'll find out together. Rest of the box, plain Jane, just a sea of white, that's totally alright. And we can slide this open and we'll just see what we're working with. They give you some basic instructions on how to assemble everything. We are immediately introduced to, whoa, his big old honkin' pistol, which is somehow bigger than I anticipated it being. Let me just brush away all these packing peanuts here. And this, geez, what's it? Look, get the hell off of me, you trash. Damn. Very, very heavy. I like it a lot. Better quality than I was expecting. Sorry, I just got a few more of these little stragglers in the way. There might be more of them as we go. But this is the main body of the gun, and as you can see, there are no black accents whatsoever. Again, that would be on the barrel, the trigger, and the hammer. So the barrel's here. It looks like I just have to paint that. That's not a big deal. I got spray paint and all that, so that's not a problem. Let's actually pull out a little bit, actually push the box away. And here is how it looks. Of course, it is a little bit crude. It's got some edges that I need to clean up, probably with an X-Acto knife and maybe a little bit of sandpaper action. But beyond that, not too bad. I mean, down here in the trigger area, the finger guard, I guess it's called, you have a little bit of that edge of plastic, so I'll need to trim that away. Down to the buttstock, you got this big ol' piece of resin right there that you got to clip off as well. And you can see, it's definitely not 3D printed. It seems like it's from a mold or something. I don't know what the process is. But even down here, it's a little porous, which is interesting. I've never seen anything like that before. So it's not as high quality as it could be, but I mean, all the bubbly looking stuff, it's on the bottom anyway, so you're not going to see it. But as for the main surfaces that matter, this side and this side, it's pretty consistent. I did make a mistake when I reviewed the NECA General Ursus figure not too long ago, and I said that his gun is supposed to have a distinct wood grain on it. I was wrong. I was thinking about another snapshot that I saw online. Apparently some badass went ahead and made an actual 1-to-1 scale replica of Ursus's pistol out of wood from scratch, and that's why that had that wood grain, and it looked really cool. But in terms of screen accuracy, this is what we want here. Another thing worth mentioning, which you could probably guess by now, is this thing does not work. Not only are there no innards, there's nothing hollow inside of this thing, but I mean the barrel also doesn't have a hole in it. So I might consider drilling in a hole myself. I got a Dremel, so it'll take some effort. It's really sturdy material, so I'm not even sure if I can get in there, but I'll see what I can do. Worst case, it wouldn't be the most aesthetically jarring thing. I think also what I saw in the shots is you can kind of sit it down, and yeah, it rests down pretty nicely, so you don't even need a stand for it, especially if you shave off this blunt end over here, which shouldn't be too difficult. It should look even better. Again, a Dremel might be the best option for that. But yeah, you got room for the hammer back here. Again, very simple and sleek looking design. No scan lines from the 3D printer, which is great. There's some like warp lines over here, but I think that adds to the aesthetic. And for some reason, I don't know why, but I'm showing this side off predominantly, so it doesn't show up here. So that's probably I'll be displaying it. So that looks very good. But that's not the end of the story. Of course, there are a few more components which I will probably need to clean up and glue on. And as I suspected, there are only two, and that's totally fine. So let's see what these look like quality-wise and feel-wise. These feel distinctly lighter, not just in terms of material, but in terms of weight. So that's quite interesting. So here we have the hammer. I can only imagine, and this will go in the back. And I think this would just slot into this little rectangle right here. And it goes something like that. I think I have that right. Yeah, so you might want to sand that down a little bit better so there's more of a curve, so it's more flush with this indent that we have over here. So I'm going to need to take my time to clean everything up here. I'm not going to do that on camera. I feel like that'd be very boring, but if there's like a very distinctly difficult or trivial step in that process, then I'll let you know after I do it. But yeah, that would just go in there somewhere. We also have the trigger, and of course, after you set this in, however it's done, you don't want to pull it. That's very important, but it seems like you just slot this into this hole, kind of plug and play. Well, more just plug and no play, because again, it doesn't move, but I don't need it to, so that's all right. Yeah, so it goes into that hole. I suspect if you do some sanding work, it would slide in a little more deeply, and then it would go all the way in there. If not, I could just trim this shorter and then plug it in, and it wouldn't look too bad. So, yeah, there's some creative choices I could have going into this. It doesn't look like I will need any paint at all, aside from the barrel. And one thing I might do to keep things consistent is I'll probably wrap up this whole gun, except for the barrel, in masking tape or something. I could spray the barrel And then, after I sand them and trim them and everything, I can also spray these two pieces as well, so they're consistent. And they'll look a little bit more mechanical than the quote-unquote wooden body of this whole gun here. Obviously, it's not made of wood, as we stated. But I really like this. I think it's going to be a ton of fun. I can't imagine it would take me terribly long. I think the most difficult thing will be just cleaning it up, getting rid of the excess plastic, this part especially, and being sure all the pieces fit before I start just gluing things together haphazardly, right? So, I'm not sure when I'm going to do it today, if I get to it today, but I need to do my sanding, some X-Acto blade work, then I can think about painting up the barrel and these two bits over here, and then I should be able to just plug those parts right on with some probably simple glue. I might need a hot glue gun for the trigger, I'm not totally sure. Might actually work up here as well, I'll think about it. It looks like a really excellent kit. I can't wait to show you further steps, so I will see you very soon. Welcome back. We're actually hopping ahead in time a little bit here. I wrapped up the Ursus pistol shortly after I filmed that first clip, but then I wound up just kind of vegging out for the rest of the weekend. I think I napped with the gun in my hands a few times, but here is the final product. Doesn't look super different from what we saw before, but pretty much I did just as I said. I cleaned everything up, all the plastic components. I painted the barrel black, as well as the hammer, the trigger, and also that little, I don't know what you'd call that little crevice that the hammer is contained in. So I did that by hand. Because there's some slight weathering and scuffing right there, so I'm going to go to a few more coats with acrylic. I actually started with spraying the black portions with black. Then I did a dull coat, but I didn't love the look, so I wound up just going over it again with acrylic paint. So it's got several coats on there, and I think overall it will be pretty strong. I mean, the hammer and the trigger are based in black plastic anyway, so if any weathering happens there, it's not going to be too noticeable, but that being said, it fits in my hand great. I mean, it's huge. I don't even think I want to call this a pistol anymore. It's more of a hand cannon. It's freaking enormous. But after I finished this gun, I realized this thing doesn't make any sense. How does Ursus load this shit? I mean, really. I mean, yeah, it looks really cool, and that's a wooden revolver. That's pretty much what we're looking at here. But there's no way to actually put in ammo or anything, and not even through the nose of it. I didn't even put a hole in the barrel. The resin's just way too tough, and I have a very weak and meek Dremel, so I didn't even bother with that. But I'm totally okay with that, because when you closely inspect shots straight from beneath the Planet of the Apes, and you look at the barrels of the guns that many of the girls are holding, there's no hole in there, so this is actually probably more accurate to not have the hole. So I'm fine with that. I'm more concerned with it being screen accurate than realistic. So I'm loving this. There's nothing else I want to do here. Again, maybe just touch up the black in this black portion over here, but that's it. I love it. I think it's fantastic. Doesn't really need any more sanding or anything. Although it is worth mentioning, it was really difficult to sand out the portions that were on the inside of the finger guard. So what I did is I trimmed it away, a little bit of knife action, then sandpaper, and it looked like white because it had all that scratchiness. So then I went in there with some like some brown paint to kind of hide that. Same at the bottom. Again, there was that really huge notch. I flipped that away, and it's a little rough admittedly, but it's on the bottom. You're not going to notice it. And just like before, you could set it down, and it looks great. You don't need a stand or anything. So I love this thing a lot. So that being said, just in time, I also received the second thing that is relevant to Planet of the Apes in the mail. Another replica, this one being from the first movie. One of the most iconic objects in the film, in my opinion, although you don't see it around for very long. So this is from a totally different seller. Again, link in the description. This is, I believe, 29th scroll, 6th verse. This is the scroll that Zeus tells Cornelius to read at the very end of the film before the big reveal with Taylor and Nova. So this is a big deal and one of the best written pieces of scripture I've ever seen in film. And it might be my favorite piece of written scripture in history. I've read many religions in my career as a philosophy major. But yeah, as you can see here, it had a little bit of twine holding it together. And it is this small. It's very, very small in the film, so it should be this tiny. But you can see it's very ornately crafted. You got the wooden carved scroll off to the side, or like little doorknobs. I really like the look there. Very pristine. I think I saw two sources of the scroll. I think I saw an eBay listing, and then I also saw it on Etsy. So if there's no more on eBay, I think the Etsy person is the same seller, so I'm sure it'll all be the same. And that being said, I haven't opened this yet, but I think all you need to do is give it a pull. As you see, it's got a weathering treatment. I'm going to be a little careful. Of course, this is paper. I you find a nice way to preserve this after this review. I'll probably keep it wrapped until I come up with a nice frame. Yes, 29th, 6th verse, that's right. And here it is. This is the full passage that Cornelius or Roddy McDowall reads towards the end of the film, word for word. Very well printed. It looks beautiful. Beware the beast man, for he is the devil's pawn, yada yada. I really love this, and it's one of the best moments in the entire film. Well, in a film that's one of the best movies ever made. So it's really cool that someone went out of their way to make a third-party replica of this. I mean, granted, you didn't actually see the words on the scroll, you just saw it from the back in the film. And this is 29th scroll, and this is the 6th verse. So odds are the actual scroll in the film would have had more text written on it to be more realistic, but that's okay. I mean, this serves its role, and it looks great. The seller actually suggested a shadow box, a term I've never heard of before, but almost kind of this wooden box with a glass pane in front. They can kind of display the scroll in there outstretched. Since this is a room that has a lot of moisture issues going on, I definitely want to keep it rolled up until I can think of a good way to display it. I'll probably keep it in an airtight box until I can think of the right way to display it, but I really, really love this. Again, it's got the age treatment. It's a little wrinkled, a little aged, it's got some yellowing and browning to it. It's really gorgeous, whatever process they did. It's a nice high-quality piece. Again, very fragile. The wooden rod here is very, very thin. And obviously this is paper, so you don't want to tear it, you don't want to rip it, you don't want moisture to get to it, so you do want to be careful. I'll think of something nice to do. I get paid shortly, so I'll give this the right treatment. But that being said, this is not a handicraft, it's not a model kit. It comes exactly as you wanted it to, and I am very thrilled. The one thing I might do is maybe roll it out a little bit, because you can see the corners are kind of bending up, so I might do something about that. But otherwise, this is really cool. I like this a lot. So that's it for this two-part showcase over here. Again, we have one scroll, and then we have one big old General Ursus hand cannon over here, which, yeah, again, I don't think pistol is the right way to describe it. I'm trying to think, for the sake of thumbnail purposes, of course, if I can stretch this out and weigh it down with something. I got Betsy over here, so actually, yeah, that looks pretty good. All right. Again, different sellers. Link for each of them in the description. They're awesome. One you got to build and give a little bit of love. The other one, it's plug and play. I mean, maybe you just need to show a few extra bucks for a nice way to display it to keep it safe. But otherwise, both are really cool. Again, not very easy to get OG Planet of the Apes replicas, so third-party market's probably the best way to go. And these are stellar. I won't change a thing about them. I mean, maybe if I were to get picky, I could say I'd like a working trigger on the pistol, but then again, I don't think Ursus fires a single round from this thing, so it's okay that it's a static piece, and that's probably what it was in the movie anyways. Just a block of wood with some black accents, and that's it. And again, the scroll might not be totally accurate. We only saw the back of it, but I love the fine calligraphy that's printed on there, the aging. It tells a really nice story. I love these guys a lot. They're really cool. Oh, and worth bringing in a little scrap of twine. I own twine, so if I lost it, I could get it again, but, you know, all the same. So thank you very much for looking at these replicas. Let me know if you're interested in getting more of these on your own. And also let me know if there's another piece of Planet of the Apes paraphernalia that you would like to have a tangible copy of. What would that be? One thing I would love is the Mama doll from the original movie. I think that would be really awesome. Maybe a scale replica of the Alpha Omega bomb. I don't know. There's a lot of potential in there, but then again, all the Apes movies, because there's been so many big sci-fi hits since then, the original Apes films have kind of been put aside, which is kind of sad to see. So not a whole lot of people know about them. They're kind of cult classic-y now, but you know what? It's kind of nice that way. It limits the crowd, makes it more fun for us people who do remember and appreciate all five. So all that being said, thank you guys very much for watching. If you enjoyed them, please, as per usual, be sure to like,
comment, ring the bell to be notified of our latest arrivals, and subscribe.
2 fine accessories if you're cosplaying as a damn dirty ape. Rock on, and I will see you all later.
Hey you, yeah you, check out this other video you might like at our sister gaming channel. It would be real sweet if you did. Still waiting!